Gita Sugita Kurtebhya Kimanne Shastra Vistrayihi Yasvayam Padmanabhaisya Mukha Padmad Vinishrita Sarva Shastra Mai Gita Sarva Deva Mayo Harihi Sarva Tirtha Mai Ganga Sarva Veda Mayo Manuhu Gita Ganga Chagayatri Govinde Iti Ridistite Chaturgakara Sangyukte Punarjanmana Vidyate. The eulogy of the Gita. What is the necessity of studying too many scriptures if Gita alone can serve that purpose? Gita has come out from the lips of God Himself. Gita is the embodiment of all scriptures. Krishna is the embodiment of all gods and gods. Ganga is the embodiment of all holy places. Manu is the embodiment of all Vedas. He holds in his heart the four gods, Gita, Ganga, Gayatri and Govinda. He will never be born again. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, 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 be unto all. This morning our subject is Thoughts on the Gita, part 73. It is a series of talk on the Bhagavad Gita. Gita is the part of the Mahabharata and it has 700 verses. One verse was told by Dhritarashtra, 40 verses by Sanjaya, 85 verses by Arjuna, and 564 verses by Krishna. Gita is the book of life. Human beings have problems, and Gita solves those problems. Two basic problems of human beings are fear and confusion. All human beings live with fear. And sometimes we cannot make decision what is right, what is wrong, what is dharma, what is adharma. In this respect, Swami Vivekananda gave a beautiful solution. The thing which you make you strong, that is right. And the thing which you make you weak, that is wrong. That is the way we ascertain right and wrong. Gita has 18 chapters. Each chapter is called Yoga. The first chapter is called Vishada Yoga, a chapter on grief, sorrow, despondency. And the last chapter is Moksha Yoga, chapter on liberation. We are all trying to get rid of our pain, misery, suffering, and attain liberation. So Gita shows that path. Gita is a non-sectarian scriptures which is read by the householders, monastics, everyone. Because Krishna answers the problems of all human beings. Sometimes I ask people, those who are depressed or down, I can read the Gita. I sometimes ask, read one chapter of the Gita every day. Today, first chapter, next day, second chapter, thus you go to 18th chapter, then you come back again, start with one chapter. This is the way we can see ourselves. That is the most important thing. Most people do not know their own problems. So for that reason, they go to doctor, psychiatrists. But Gita will pinpoint, will show, putting two fingers on your eyes, this is your problem. And you can see it. And if you know it, you can solve it. That is the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes we see the tailpiece of the Bhagavad Gita. At the end of each chapter, you will find Vyasa says, Iti Shri Mahabharate Shatashastram Vayasikkam Sangitayam Vayasikkam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadshu Brahma Vidyam Yoga Shastra Sri Krishna Arjuna Sangbade such and such yoga nama first, second or third adhyaya. It is the tailpiece explains the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita. Mahabharata is the largest epics in the whole world. It consists 100,000 verses. Mahabharati. Shata Shastram Sangitayam. Shata means 100. Shastram means 1,000. 100,000 Sangita verses are there. Who wrote it? Vyasa, the great sage, who compiled the 4 Vedas, wrote the Mahabharata, including the Bhagavad Gita, and 18 Puranas. The great sage Vyasa. Without Vyasa, we cannot think of Hinduism and the Hindu scriptures. Then it says, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shu. Bhagavad Gita. Gita means song sung by God. Sometimes our Hindu scriptures goes Rishi Ruvacha, Shuka Uvacha, Vyasa Uvacha, Vyasa says, Shuka says, Rishi said. Here we find Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, God said. Human beings have problems and God is solving those problems. Then Upanishadshu, Gitashu, Upanishadshu. Gita is the quintessence of the Upanishad. Moreover, it is Brahma Vidya, knowledge of Brahman, Yoga Shastra, the science of yoga, and it is a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna is Narayana and Arjuna is the Nara. So it is a dialogue between Nara and Narayana. So at the end of every chapter of the Gita, you will find this tailpiece. It shows that what are you studying. Very, very interesting. Now, this Atman has 3 powers. I am just telling you the dharma of the Bhagavad Gita. Has 3 powers. Karma Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti. In your system, in my system, in all of our systems, these 3 powers are working. Karma Shakti means power of action, Jnana Shakti, power of knowledge, and Ichha Shakti is power of will. These 3 powers, we do not see the Atman, but the Atman is the manifesting through these 3 channels. And this, how to divert these 3 channels toward God, that is the main focus of the Bhagavad Gita. We are now studying the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 11. The 8th name of the chapter is The Way of the Imperishable Brahman. How can we reach God? In the 7th chapter, Krishna talks about realization. And there he explained what is Brahman. At the end he says, Arjuna, I am telling you, You must know these things if you want to reach me. Kim Tad Brahma. Very nicely he put it there. King Adhyatmam. Odidaivam, Odijajnam. What is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? Etc. Krishna answered, the imperishable is the Supreme Brahman, is dwelling in which individual body is called Adhyatma. The offering in sacrifices which causes genesis and support of beings is called Karma. The perishable aspect of things is Adhibhuta, and the indwelling self is Adhidaiva. Anyhow, he tried to explain what is Brahman. There are two ways you can indicate Brahman. According to Vedanta philosophy, Swarupa Lakshana, Tatastha Lakshana. What is Swarupa Lakshana? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Brahman is truth, knowledge or consciousness, and infinity. That is directly I am telling what is Brahman. Indirectly I can also tell what is Brahman. Upanishad says, Yato va imani bhutani jayanti, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanta visam vishanti, tad vijignyasasya tad brahmeti. From where this whole creation and beings evolve and sustain and merges, dissolves, that is Brahman. So, indirectly I am telling what is Brahman. The Brahman we cannot see. It is infinite, without name, without form, without qualities. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad used 22 negative words to indicate what is Brahman. Asthula, Ananu, Arasama, Dirgama, Laitama, Shuklama, Krishnam. In this way, 22 negative words have been used to denote what Brahman is. Then what is Brahman? Silence. Silence is Brahman. Anyhow, Krishna started to speak. Listen. Jad aksharam vedu vidu vadanti vishanti yat yatayo vitoragaha jad icchanto brahmacharjam charanti tatte padam sangrahina pravakshi. What the knowers of the Vedas speak of as the imperishable, what the self-controlled sannyasis, freed from attachment, enter into, and to gain which goal they live the life of brahmacharya, that I shall declare unto you in brief. We cannot think anything in this world without symbol. Mind, the moment thinks, it thinks through symbols. We teach our children how to read the alphabet. A, S, A, I, B, bat. In this way, we always try to put symbols in the minds of the children so that they can understand what A, B, C, D means. Symbols. Mind always takes form. Brahman is formless. So how can I can understand Brahman? That is the question. Krishna says, the symbol of Brahman is Aksharam. This monosyllabic mystical word, Om, that he will tell more about it in the next few verses. Om is the symbol of Brahman. Om. What is Om? It is called Akshara. Akshara means undecaying, imperishable. Kshara means decays, perishes. Brahmavido vadanti, the knowers of Brahman calls about it Akshara. Om. the monks want to enter in that realm of Brahman. The Brahma people practice austerity, brahmacharya, to attain the soul. Tatte padam sangrena prabhakshe. Krishna says, that I am going to tell you in brief. What is that Brahman? I shall read to you a little from the Katha Upanishad, where Yama, the god of death, was explaining Nachiketa, the mystery of this monosyllabic word Om. Every religion has 4 parts: religion, philosophy, ritual, symbol. Symbol. You will see that symbol of all religions, same truth coming through all symbols. People, even ask the Christians, their God is formless. What do you think? Ask. They will sing cross. Or when they go to the church, they see some images of Jesus and Mother Mary. Even the Muslims, they think about Kaaba, black stone of Makkah. Mind must think something, symbols. So, listen what Om is. Pronounced Om as in home. Om is the most sacred word of the Vedas and may be compared to the word referred to by St. John in the opening of the 4th Gospel. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Christians believe that the Word became flesh in the form of Jesus Christ. As Swami Vivekananda said, the whole philosophy of Christianity is in those 5 verses of the Gospel according to St. John. According to Hindu philosophy, the whole of the universe has name and form as the conditions of the manifestation. The form is its outer crust, of which the name or idea is the inner essence or kernel. The name is inseparable from a word or sound. Very, very interesting. Shabda, artha, sound, and its meaning. They always go together. Chetanananda as a name. Immediately, I think about my form. Each one, everything in this world, the moment you make a sound, it must take a form. Name and form. Sometimes I ask people, try to watch 5 things. Existence, consciousness, bliss, that is Brahman, that is God. Naam, Roop, name and form, Maya. Maya evolves and dissolves. Name and form evolve and dissolve. Like the waves in the ocean. They're constantly evolving and dissolving, evolving and dissolving. So all of us, perhaps 60 years, 70 years or 100 years, we are evolved and then we'll be dissolved. This is the way all this whole creation is moving. Name, form. It is a very mysterious phenomenon. Are they real? What is real? Vedanta says, do you know what is real? The thing which exists all the 3 times, past, present, and future. Show one thing in this world that exists all the time. Nothing. Nothing. And 200-300 years ago, there was no centuries. And look what the century is now. We do not know what will happen after 1,000 years. Nobody knows. Om. Om is called Nado Brahman or the sound Brahman. The three letters A-U-M pronounced in combination is Om, a generalized symbol of all possible sounds. A is the root sound, the key, pronounced without the tongue touching any part of the palate. It is the least differentiated of all sounds. Again, all articulate sounds are produced in the space between the root of the tongue and the lips. The throat sound is A. M is the last sound. When we close our lips, we say M, M, M. A starts from here and M is here. U represents the rolling forward of the impulse that begins at the root of the tongue and ends at the lips. A properly pronounced Om will represent the whole gamut of sound production, and no other word can do this. Therefore, Om is the finest symbol of the Sphota, the Logos, the word which was at the beginning. Anyhow, this Om has many, many meanings. Sometimes A is the creator, U is the preserver, Vishnu, A is Brahman, Brahma, U is Vishnu, and M is Shiva, destroyer. They may Jagrut, Swapna, waking, dreaming, sleep. Each has many, many interpretations of this word Om. Why I am talking this Om to you? Because you can understand the highest truth through this sound. Om. Sometimes we get initiation, we get mantra, sound. How that sound takes us to the silence, the infinite. That is the reason I am reading this Om to you, so that you can understand that Om is a symbol of Brahman, the infinite. That infinite has become manifested through sounds as this universe and beings. This is all manifestation of that supreme reality. Next two verses. Sarvadvarani swanyema manorhidi niruddhacha mudni adhayatmanah pranamastito yogodaranam omityakaksharam brahma vyaharan mamanusmaran yaprayati tejandeyam sajati paramam gotim. Controlling all the senses, confining the mind in the heart, drawing the prana into the head, occupied in the practice of concentration, uttering the one-syllabled Om, the Brahman, and meditating on me, one who he so departs, leaving the body attains the supreme goal. When I was reading these verses, do you know what I was thinking? Krishna is teaching us how to die. How to die. Have you seen any scriptures that teach how to die? Very, very interesting. Preparation for death is very, very important in our life. When the time comes, we must get ready to die. Paramam Gatim. What is the Paramam Gatim? Supreme goal. And Brihadaranyupanishad tells us, Esha Issa Paramagatihi. This is the supreme goal. Brahman. Esha Issa Paramaloka. This is the supreme abode. Esha Issa Parama Sampad. This is the supreme wealth. Esha Issa Paramananda. This is the supreme bliss. Having bliss from this Brahman, all beings are happy. The source is that absolute reality, Brahman. Very interesting. Sarva dwarani sanyema. Dwar, gates. There are 9 gates. Navadare puredehi naiva kurban nakarayan. There are 9 gates in the human body. Channels, passages. Mind goes out through these senses. So he is telling, Sarva, control all these senses. Then next step, confining the mind in the heart. Mano hridhi niruddhacha. How to die? Control your outgoing tendencies of the senses. And then they will come in the mind. Mind is the ruler of all sense organs. And then divert the mind to the hridhi, heart. That is here in the heart chakra, 4th chakra. Purusha Sukta tells us, where is that 4th chakra? Sometimes people ask, Swami, where is the 4th chakra? Attatishta dashangulam. 10 fingers above the navel is the position of the 4th chakra, here. 10 fingers like this from above the navel is the position of the 4th chakra, tells us Purusha Suktam from the Rig Veda. Where is the position? Where should I concentrate? Brahman is everywhere, no doubt. But when you meditate, where shall I meditate? That Sri Ramakrishna is said, Hriday donkamara jaiga. Heart is the very important place to concentrate. That is the resting place and place for relaxation. Sometimes some people have weird idea about meditation. Do you know what they say? Oh, meditation brings the relaxation. I think meditation is a tremendous activities. Meditation is not relaxation. Meditation gives peace and bliss, but it is not relaxation. At that time, you fight, struggle against the restlessness of the mind. It is just at that time tremendous action going on, not physical, but mental action. When you close your eyes, when you try to concentrate on your chosen deity, your Ishta, struggle. Mind is going all directions. It is a struggle. Meditation is not relaxation. It is a struggle. Lot of work to control the mind. So he was telling, put the mind in the heart. According to Yoga Sutra, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What is yoga? Controlling the thought waves of the mind. The natural tendency of the mind is to go through the senses, especially through the minds, outward. If the mind stops, what will happen? The world stops. The whole world is nothing but the vibration of the mind. The moment the world stops, tada drushtu sarupe avasthanam. At that time, you are established on your own self. This is the reason the yogis, they practice Nirodha Samskara. Do you know what do? They hold the mind and grabs it. No, I won't let you go outside. You see, at that time, mind becomes the subject, the mind becomes the object. How? How the same mind? This mind says, I shall rob this person. Same mind says, if I rob, I will be in jail. See, mind is talking to the mind. Did you notice? One part of your body is dirty. You take another part of the body and clean it. So body is cleansing the mind, similarly cleansing the body, similarly the mind is cleansing the mind. Mind becomes the subject and mind becomes the object. When this thing comes, that means you are very advanced. You have started to understand your own mind. That is the reason they try to control the mind. I won't let you go. Stop, stop. If you can hold the mind for 5 minutes, mind will stop. You will get tremendous peace. That the yogis practice. That he is talking about. Put the mind in your heart. Then, next, Murdni Adhaya Atmana. Drawing the prana into the head. Through the yoga. Sometimes they do through they hold the mind between the eyebrows. If you practice that, you will see light very soon. But sometimes I discourage people because some may get headache, dizziness, various kinds of head problems. Best place to concentrate in the heart chakra. Pranam astito yoga dharanam. There is another way to keep the mind in the inner place, inside. It is in the Dhaura Vidya in the Chandogya Upanishad. This says, Atha idamosmin brahmapuri dharam punjarikaksham veshma dhaurasmin antarakasha tusmin jadanta tadanistibhya tadvijigyansitebhya. In this human body, in this human system, there is a city. They call it city of Brahman. In that city, in that city, there is a small lotus. Inside that lotus, there is a little space. You must know what is in that space. That is the place of the Atman. If you can reach that place, you will be illuminated. Just bring whole mind inside, go within, go, deep, deep. Until you can reach that place, do not stop. That Swamiji says, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. You must move inside. Do you know what is that? That is called microcosm. This macrocosm and microcosm are built in the same pattern. You see this vast universe? Same universe is inside. What is inside, that is outside. What is outside, that is inside. That Vedanta teaches. That is unity in diversity. You will not have to go to the temples and the churches and here and there. Whole universe is within you. Realize it. That Vedanta teaches. That Krishna is talking about that how holding the symbol you can go within and experience the truth. You see, this is a science. This is not a doctrine or dogma. This is the truth. You might have a Christian background or Jewish background or whatever background you might have. But if you practice a science, if you practice it, you will get the result. I sometimes say, a medicine is that any medicine invented by a Christian or a Jewish person or a Hindu person, that does not belong to that religion. It belongs to whole humanity. Same thing. Truth is universal. Om Ittekaksharam Brahma. Om, this monosyllabic word is Brahman, Shabda Brahman. Baharan, repeat. And Ma Manushparan, and think of me. That means I am the Ishta, I am Krishna, God. Form, God with form, God without form. This is another dilemma of the Western people. How God can be formless and the form at the same time. You see, according to Aristotelian logic, ye, ne. Ye cannot be ne cannot be ye. But Sri Ramakrishna solved that problem, 2 a.m. on the second day. What do you think about God? Sir, I love God. Think of God without form. That is all right, but God has form also. He was confused. How is it possible? Sri Ramakrishna said, what is wrong? Water, liquid. If you put too much cold in the freeze, it becomes solid. Same water is changing position, same water. So to the devotees, God has form. To the Jnani, God is formless. There is nothing wrong. What a beautiful solution Sri Ramakrishna gave to this God with form and God without form. Wonderful. Om itika aksharam brahma bharanam. Repeat. This is the mantra. Ma manushparan. Think of me as your chosen deity. Ya prayati tejan diham sajati paramam gati. Repeating this mantra and thinking of God, if you depart from this world, boom, you will go to God. Sajati param gatim, he will reach God. He is giving the formula how to die. I shall tell you an incident. Swami Nikhilananda, who translated the Gospel of Ramakrishna, went to Swami Shivananda, a disciple of Ramakrishna, and said, Maharaj, people, Sri Ramakrishna said, those who come here, to him, this would be their last birth. It is hard for me to believe it. Then Swami said, why? Do you have any doubt? Swami, the scripture says, Jnanat Moksha. Liberation is possible only through the knowledge of Brahman. And knowledge of Brahman does not come without cessation of desires. Your mind will be completely desireless. So, first condition, I will have to desireless, then I shall get illumination, then I shall. But Maharaj, we have so many desires. Think about you. How many desires you have? Hundreds, thousands. Every day so many desires are coming. Read the commercials, watch the commercials, more desires will arise in your minds. Especially Saturday, I saw a bunch of newspaper, all the desires. Just to create desires in your mind, come to my shopping mall. All the desires. So Swami said, Swami Shivananda said, do you really love me? Yes, Swami, I love you. I also love you. Suppose you love Sri Ramakrishna. At the time of death, at that time, mind becomes very one-pointed. If you are calling the master, you are repeating the mantra and thinking, Ma Manushparan, you are singing Baharan Anushparan. Baharan means you are repeating mantra and you are thinking of your chosen deity. What will happen? Chosen deity will appear before you. At that time, will you ask, Lord, give me a beautiful house or a big car or a lot of money? Immediately, do you know what will happen? Your mind will be choked. No desire will arise. And you will merge with your chosen deity. That is the secret. I believe it. It is a beautiful solution. Otherwise, I shall kill all desires and after that I shall get illumination and after that I shall get liberation. Forget it. Forget it. I shall kill all my desires, then attain liberation. There is a beautiful verse of Tulsi Dasa. Tulsi jab jag mein aayo, tab jag hase tum roe. Aisi karke kar chalu ki jab tum hase jag roe. Tulsidas, the great mystic, said about himself, when you came to this world, you cried. And the friends and family people, they smiled. They were very happy because they got a baby. You do such things in this life so that when you will die, you smile and let other people cry for you. That means it is called Janma Safalyam, fulfillment in life. Each one of us should strive to fulfill the purpose of human life. That is God realization. Sri Ramakrishna emphatically said, the goal of human life is to realize God. You might have other subsidiary goals, it doesn't matter. For that reason, very few people want it in this world. I remember one of my friends, he was a professor. 1 year he was in sabbatical. And he was exploring in whole America all Eastern religions. He went to go to Buddhist and yoga and all Eastern religion. 1 year he explored all over America. Stayed with each religious group and wrote the paper. His name was Robert. He's from near Boston, his university. Anyhow, I asked Bob, did you find any group who says the goal of human life is God realization? Swami, you put in me trouble. I do not find any group. But only in Colorado, I found a group, in Buddhist group, they want Satori, some kind of samadhi. But I have not seen any group says my goal is God realization. All over America, these Eastern religions are explored by this man. Very interesting. Next verse, 14. Vananna cheta satatam yomam smarati nityasha tasyaham shilava partha nitya yuktaisa yoginaha. I am easily available by that ever steadfast yogi who remembers me constantly and daily with a single mind, O Partha. This verse is a very soothing for us. Shulabha Partha, I am easily available. Krishna is telling him, don't be afraid. I talked about death before that. I am really available, easily available. To whom? Nitya yuktaisa yogina. Ananya cheta. Very, mind is one-pointed and constantly thinking of me. He nitya yukta yogi, I am easily available. I shall tell you an incident. I was in Los Angeles for 7 years, 71 to 78. Swami Prabhupada was a great Swami, Brahmananda's disciple. I stayed with him for 5 years. One day he was telling me, Chetanananda, I am very depressed. I said, why are you depressed, Maharaj? Previously, I used to go to shrine 3 times a day. Morning 1 hour, noon 1 hour, and evening 1 hour. But after that heart attack, I cannot go to the shrine anymore. So I miss my shrine. If a monk practices long, many years, that routine becomes the part of his life. So he was missing. And he expressed his feeling to me. I am a young monk at that time. Then I said, Maharaj, you saw Holy Mother. You got initiation from Brahmananda and you met most of the Jari disciples of Sri Ramakrishna and associated with him. That is true. And don't you think about them? Well, yes, they are in my mind most of the time. I can, Maharaj, that is called Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja Yoga means natural awareness. You will not have to go to the shrine. That is higher than meditation and japam. You are cooking, you are vacuuming. Master is in your mind. That is Sahaja Yoga. Maharaj, you are all the time, that is the way. Then he said, look, even a monk needs the company of a monk. I felt very bad, but your words are very, it is very soothing for me. I really feel good now. There is a verse in the Chandogya Upanishad. Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhau Dhruva Smriti Lambe Sarva Gruntinam Vipra Moksha. I love that verse. Ahar. Ahar means eating. Here ahar means collecting. Ahara Shuddhau. If you collect all good things through the senses inside, if you give all good food to the mind, your mind will be healthy. Sattva Shuddhi. Sattva means mind. Shuddhi. Your mind will be purified. If you constantly put good food to the mind, mind will be purified. Sattva Shuddha Dhruva Smriti. When the mind becomes purified, you will get constant recollectedness of God. Mind, at the day and night, it will think only about God, 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 nothing else. Then what happened next? Sattva Shuddha Dhruva Smriti. Smriti Lambe Sarva Gruntinam Vipra Moksha. When that constant recollectedness of God comes, you will be liberated. That is a beautiful, that is the truth. Who is polluting our minds? We. Who can purify our minds? We. That Krishna mentioned in the 6th chapter of the Gita. Oh Arjuna, you are your friend, you are your enemy. Your disciplined mind is your friend, your indisciplined mind is your enemy. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaivahi atmana bandhu atmaiva ripuratmana. Do not blame anybody. Take the whole responsibility on your own shoulder. Ananya Cheta. Patanjali also mentioned how to attain this stage. Tapo Saddhayo Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga. What is Kriya Yoga? Tapa. Practice austerity. Swadhayo. Study. Ishvara Pranidhanani. Devotion to God. These are the 3 ways, the Kriya Yoga, you will bring this stage of constant recollectedness. Smaran, Manan, Nididhyasana. Easy way. Sometimes, those who practice japam and practice meditation, do you know what happens? You will find an undercurrent will flow inside. Your mind, below the mind, here the undercurrent, the spiritual thought will move. I remember when in the late 40s, when I was in Calcutta, or early 50s, I used to watch how they clean the Calcutta streets. There are 2 types of water. One is filtered water that you can drink and you can cook. Unfiltered water comes straight from the Ganges. And there are some holes are there and the pipe, and these sweepers, they would put that big long hose And at that time, in the early morning and evening, they put that Ganges water with a tremendous pressure. So with the hose, they would clean the street like this. But all the time, that low flow is there. Constantly flow will be there, but not that power which will shoot distant and clean the street. So that is the method I sometimes used to apply in my spiritual life. There should be an undercurrent, constant recollections of God. But at the time of meditation, when I go to the shrine, at that time I shoot. So that high power, it will move very high. That is a very good example, I tell you. Krishna is telling us how to reach him easily. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnubanti mahatmana sang siddhim paramam gatim. Reaching the highest perfection and having attained me, the great soul ones are no more subject to rebirth in the world, which is the home of pain and is ephemeral. Paramam samsiddhim gata mahatmana. This is this. After realizing God, what shall I gain? Shall I get 4 hands, 10 heads, or 8 eyes? No. Your body will remain the same. Your inside will change. Mamupetta, and what is the sign? Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Birth and death. Disease, death. You know, human life, sometimes they calculate it. Swami explained, very interesting, he mentioned. It is stated in Mohammedan history that during the Mohammedan rule in Spain, a just and powerful ruler named Abdul Rahman III had kept a diary of how he spent his days, and from that diary, he ultimately found that in a rule of 50 years, he had experienced unalloyed happiness only for 14 days. In 50 years, he only get peace, happiness only 14 days. In 50 years. Very interesting. So if we attain God, what will you gain? All misery will go away. I sometimes say this world is a holiday inn, is a vacation village. We are here very temporarily, very temporarily. Maybe 70, 80, 90, 100 years, that's all. You will have to go. But what is Maya? We do not want to leave this world. Like an octopus, we are holding. Sri Ramakrishna told the beautiful story of the Varaha incarnation. That in the boring incarnation, the gods came to him that your mission is fulfilled. Please come back to heaven. The bear said, no, I cannot go to heaven. I am happy with my wife and my children. Please, no, please come. Then Shiva took a trident and killed the boar. Then Lord Vishnu came out from that body, laughed and went to heaven. Even he does not want to give up the boar body. How this human, the moment you enter in the human system, how we become attached and how we become confined, limited by this system. Amazing. Ashashvatam, dukkhalayam, the home of pain and ephemeral. This is the nature of human life. So much sorrow along with some pleasure and comfort. Because we do not know anything higher, we think this is first class living. But when we know there is something higher, we understand that this is not first class at all. We are satisfied with what we are. We don't want to change. In this human body, we get pleasure. This world appears before us in a different way. If you ask a drunkard, alcoholic, well, I want my heaven full of alcohol. That gives me peace and joy. A spiritual person, well, I want spiritual people around me. Each person manifests or expects world according to his or her wishes. This is variety. Sometimes I watch people, amazing. If there is no joy, people would commit suicide. Always happiness is not possible. Always sorrow is not possible. Have you seen anybody all the time happy? No. All the time unhappy? No. That is the reason Vedanta says, Chakravat parivartanti dukhani cha sukhani cha. This happiness and misery rotate in cyclic order. You are happy, again unhappy. You are healthy, again unhealthy. This is the way this whole life moves. If all the time you are healthy, that will not work. That will not happen. This is the way the world works. If all the time you are happy, all doctors will be unhappy. Vedanta teaches all to take life as it is. Life is a combination of pleasure and pain. Whether one is more or the other is more, is just a theoretical question. We are passing through the life which involves both pleasure and pain. Don't get stuck up in either of them. That is the Vedantic teaching. Squeeze both of them and get knowledge out of them. Experience alone can give you knowledge. Without the experience of pain, you can't understand the world and sympathize with humanity. Unless you have starved a little, you can't understand that there are 300 millions of our people are half starving all the time. You can't have sympathy. You can't have understanding. So, utilize occasions of pain and pleasure to achieve knowledge and compassion. That is spiritual expansion of the human personality. That is the Vedantic teaching. Swami Vivekananda expresses this beautifully in the first chapter of his Karma Yoga, which you get in the complete verse. Happiness and misery, how karma works. Anyhow, in this, today I try to cover to you that how Krishna is talking about this Om, symbol of Brahman. Hold it, meditate, repeat that Om mantra. Then Krishna says how to die. He gave the formula. Don't commit suicide. In America, do you know what is the best place to commit suicide? Golden Gate in San Francisco. Now they put net there so that you cannot jump 22,000 feet down. 2200, anyhow. If you see the statistics, how many people jumped? from that Golden Gate Bridge. Suicide is not the answer. Then Krishna tells us that if you reach me, what will you get? If you attain God, cessation of misery and attainment of supreme bliss. Ajnana nivrittihi paramananda praptihi. Cessation of ignorance and attainment of bliss. That you will get. Anyhow, I shall stop here. Thank you. Mukam karuti vachalam pangum langhayati yat kripa tamaham bandi paramananda madhavam. I bow down to Krishna, by whose grace the lame scale mountain and the dumb become eloquent. May Krishna be the guide of our lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be told.